project started at East Berlin as the idea to actually create a cross-client proof of authority network, and we were really that excited about that. We tried to implement Aura in Gas, and we soon realized after 2 sleepless nights this was like a total mess. And this idea was so well appreciated among everyone who heard about it that we actually won the first prize on East Berlin, but were soon disqualified because we were so ambitious to do this that we didn't realize that we are like 7 people in one team, which was obviously not allowed. So yeah, we were like the winner of the hearts, but yeah, we were disqualified. But anyways, the idea lives on. After the hackathon, the main learning was that we don't want to proceed with Aura at this stage because Aura is very complex. It's very. I tried to write a spec, and it's really hard to understand the spec because it's only available in code. So the few documentation out there is not sufficient to write an actual spec. And so we tried to move on. And what we did after the hackathon is to actually apply for grants. So we have some money available. We received the first chunk of our first grant yesterday, actually. I don't know, Aiden, do we want to officially announce this yet, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it if you are.
So, fun part of the story is we applied for a grant at the Ethereum Community Fund, and then the Ethereum Classic Cooperative approached us with another funding offer, and we received the first chunk of 50,000 US dollars in funding this week. Yeah, we put it on a multisig. It's we lost like $10,000 already on the markets crashing. It's the very same moment when we received this fund.
Can I just say something, Afri? That just shows how much we are. Oh, the Fallen Tree has joined us too. Awesome. So, yeah, that just shows that we're developers, not speculators. Because apparently everyone knew it was the Bitcoin Cash fork, but me. So we should have anticipated it, but yeah, it turns out we don't watch charts or read the news. We just like crypto. We like blockchain. So yeah.
Well, full disclosure, we tried to get this fund in a stable coin of our choice, and it didn't work out. So we just accepted the deal to do it ourselves. But in the like 6 hours we had to exchange it, we lost like 15% of it. Whatever. That's
we are proud to say now that it's all in DAI. So Mariano, you can rest assured it's all stable right now. Yeah, so things are good.
So
I was gonna say, but I mean it's good that you at least got it.
Yeah, we are really glad that this worked out, so we can start paying our first bounties now. We will work this out during the next 2 weeks, how we exactly distribute these funds. We have some milestones. When I wrote the first proposal, I was always trying to include both proof of authority engines, but for obvious reasons, we will start with Click. Peter already wrote an EIP. I met him in Prague and encouraged him to make an actual EIP out of that. Yeah, we have like 4 clients on Görli now. That's Guess, obviously, Pantheon, Nevermind, and Parity. But Görli is much more than just this testnet. Do you want to talk about this, Aiden? What's Görli?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so really what we see this as being is a good opportunity to bring together the community to build out a lot of the tooling associated as well with EVM-based blockchains. So something as simple as an open source faucet, something, yeah, just a bunch of these different toolings. So we really think that, and this project really came as a means of trying to bring together a lot of parties that weren't necessarily all on the same page. And so we're really happy to see how people have taken on to that and are also kind of in the same, coming from the same perspective that, you know, for this to make sense for people, we need to work together to achieve our common goals.
Thanks. So where are we right now? The testnet we see right now, I call it pre-testnet or .2 release. There are still a couple of issues we have to address. When I launched this, when I created this this Genesis blog with this cute tweet of what's her name? I forgot her name.
Iggy.
Yes. This Iggy's tweet. I didn't realize that this will gain so much traction so fast. So we have to consider at some point if this is a real testnet already, or if we do a reset. Two things bother me with the current state of the testnet is like the insane funds allocation, because I just created a lot of testnet Ether I don't need, but I think for a clean testnet start we should just do it a more sane way. And the second thing is I want less random network ID. Maybe we can just claim the 5.
And also just, I think another thing to mention on that is that kind of when we're ready for that next reset, it'll be hopefully with more clients supporting Görli. And so it'll be a lot easier to get people kind of participating as valid, as authorities and stuff like that.
I think for the network ID, we should do 1337, but in hex. So take like the decimal value of 1337 in hex, and that should be our network ID.
Oh, that's X539.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, is someone taking notes? Please write down the network ID.
I'm taking down next, so I'll write that.
Thank you very much, EG. So what we are working on right now is, so thanks again for you, Kong and Jared, who are actively working on the parity implementation. I just started adding the Görli spec to parity, so we have like a separate repository because we are 3 people working on the parity client. It's Görli / parity Görli on our repository. We will soon have native Görli support, and once all the packages of Click are finalized and the code is cleaned up, we will report it upstream. But it's easier for now to have it in a separate repository. What we need is a website. Are you working on that?
Yeah, so we'll show you today what we have. It's right now not like a normal website. It's just the bridging part, but we thought that you would have that part built out first because it's the most useful, and then kind of go ahead and implement kind of the more Rigby style stuff, and just with
the dashboard, yes.
Yeah, the dashboard that shows everything there. And then with POA today talking about implementing Block Scout, which we're really thankful for. Hopefully we'll have a more well fleshed out Block Explorer too.
Okay, let me quickly explain the bridge. We had the idea that we already have 3 testnets, 3 major testnets, so it's Roston, Coven, and Ringby. And we decided it would be a nice idea to have bridges to Görli, so people can just migrate with their testnet Ether from the other testnets to Görli. And this is what are you done now? Oh, cool, that's already up.
Yeah. So
amazing.
Working on that. So I'll let her. Do you want us to go through it now, like the bridge stuff?
How long would it take to go to the demo?
Like a couple minutes.
2
Yeah.
minutes, not very long.
Yeah, why not? It looks fun.
do it. One sec.
Share.
Can you unmute and describe what you're doing, or do you want me to moderate this?
Yeah.
So essentially, this is the UI. Sorry, is it better now? Yeah. So this is the UI. It's the UI for Elizabeth's Bridge. So essentially, we can.
Like right now, the bridge is basically like very centralized. Like it's on a server right now. Like I run it basically. Like if anyone else wants to run an instance of it, that would be really nice because like if it goes down right now, it's down until I restart it. But yeah.
So it's pretty simple right now. You can send an amount of ETH. Right now, I'm in Robson. We can send to the bridge. MetaMask will prompt
the percentages.
I couldn't get a continuous there in this library.
We're
We're in between the design and just figuring it out.
We're arguing about the percentage. We don't know how much validity they have. We questioned it.
Yeah, so right now the transaction's executed. We're waiting for the deposit event to be transmitted or received. Then after the deposit event, then the withdraw event will show up. Sometimes it could take 20, 30 seconds.
You already sent the transaction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's working. Yeah.
So MetaMask confirmed it. We should have the deposit. Our semi-sketchy loader. Updated.
Okay, we have to discuss the percentage.
Yeah, Humphrey, we're all
No, don't worry, we're getting
ready to get ASAP. I'm shocked
This
it's
is
still here.
There wasn't an option to not have.
I mean,
it,
we'll just not.
I know.
Okay.
And so here's some of the data that's submitted. We have the Etherscan link. You can see that.
Do you want to show it on the Görli Explorer?
And then
I don't think the Görli Explorer works.
I think it might work.
if we search for it, it'll work.
Yeah, just look up your address. It should maybe show up. Yeah, so basically the way it works right now is
There's only one transaction.
Sorry? Oh yeah,
Yes,
there's
sorry, go on.
Yeah, you can see your transaction.
I guess that works.
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. We were able to use like our bridge that we already have, and we just need to clean up.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just click this transaction, please. I just want to have it on screen.
Go down. No, that's not.
Wow.
So yeah, there's still a bit wrong with the Block Explorer, and that's what made us start to work on Block Scout today, because we wanted to for today show the right transaction. But yeah, basically it's just a fork of a bridge that Elizabeth already made. So it was pretty straightforward. We just need to clean up the README so other people right now, there's still references to the name of the repo it's forked from. So we just have to clean that up a bit so people can run it a little easier. It also uses something called Leth, which is Elizabeth's Golang compiling, interacting, and testing framework.
You can run the bridge without it though.
But
You
yeah,
have to just like run it from the Görli.
Oh yeah, you don't have to
I
Leth compile.
No, I like set it up so
Okay, nice.
yeah.
Nice. Okay, so you don't need Leth. Never mind. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We're hoping to have it posted better by like Monday, kind of thing. I'm not too sure how much we'll get done over the weekend on this specifically. But yeah, and then the website itself should be done within a week. Pretty straightforward. If anyone has any recommendations, please propose them. There's an issue on GitHub that Afri kindly made of everything we need to do. So there's one for our website. So if anyone has any ideas, we already have our own ideas, but we'd love to get input from others. Yeah, other than that, there's nothing. Does anyone else want to say anything about it? That's all I have to say.
All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's
Quick question, guys. Sorry, awesome demo. Do you have a write-up of the bridge available that you can share in a link in case people are curious and checking out how it's implemented?
For sure. So, Chris, will you open up the GitHub? So this is where, no, that's our one.
Go to the Go Ether bridge.
No, just go to the fork. Go fork right there. You were found it. Click, no, don't fork it. Click on the two.
Just go to Go.
Yeah, that's right. So it all resides right here. So the bridge itself is the Goth bridge.
So there's a Goth.
And you can see where it's forked from, and that's just like our standard, like, yeah, we made it to interact with Ethereum Classic and rootstock. Specifically, like any VM-based blockchain was the idea. But yeah, this works just the same. But yeah, we should probably write something about it. That's a good point. Thank you, EJ.
Yeah, there's also like an ether in the Görli organization that will let you like deposit to the bridge. So yeah, that'll basically like burn your ether on the other testnet and then give you the same amount on Görli.
So that's
yeah. So
yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
No, but we need proper documentation, and I think the website should be the place where everything is like, well, here's the Explorer, here's the forknet, or here's the bridge.
Totally. And we might like just have like a wiki tab there at the bottom that has maybe a more up-to-date kind of documentation and explanation of everything that we've been working on. Cool. I mean, that's basically it from the demo. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So, EG, you asked about replacing testnets.
Yeah.
That's actually more difficult to answer than our...
Right.
Yeah, so my vision is this will replace Robson in 99.9% of the cases. There will be still the need, and Peter commented this on GitHub already. There will be a need for Robson in case of hard forks to have like a proof of work network to test proof of work dynamics. But this is pretty much everything that, in my point of view, we can just spin up a custom proof of work network in this case. So my vision is to actually replace Robson. Cohen cannot be replaced easily because it has a lot of custom parity features like Wasm VM. And I have no idea what the plan for Ring B is. From the age of the network, it will probably live another 1 or 2 years, but this is like more like the gas POA network, and we will not replace this. But benefit of the Görli initiative is that a lot of clients will have Ring B support in future.
Yeah, that sounds good. One thing that I would bring up is, and I said it when we went through the last hard fork difficulties on Robson, is the proof of work testnet is really more for protocol testing for hard forks for mainnet, right? But what people started using it for when they started hearing the term testnet is testing their dApps, right? And so if this new Görli testnet now has multi-client support, is well supported by multiple groups in the community, more dApps are going to be deploying on this testnet as their demo environment, right? And so having something written on like what the expectation is for resets on this network, what's the expectation on potential like forks on this network, if there's an upgrade on this network, how much time will people potentially have, and what kind of impact will that have on maybe a demo that they're doing at the next ETH global event or something like that. I think that would be something really appreciated by the dApp development teams.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That's an incredible point, and that is something that is one of the main reasons for this project, is to create that stability, and also to take a lot of that pressure away from, the core dev call, even from needing to kind of organize around those things and to allow kind of another body to deal with, a test net, which is really not kind of, like as you're saying, things like forking and just all of these things to have actual protocols in place that are made by another body, I think would do the network really good. Really.
So one of the things that I know some dApp developers in my local community, one of the things that they like about Ropsten is the unreliable block time. And I think that's something we would lose going to a POA network. It's much more unreliable in Ropsten than it is in a click type situation. And that's something they need to test against.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's where I think whenever people are talk about their dApp breaking once they deploy to mainnet because they were mostly developing on Rigsby or Coven, it's not being able to test on a proof of work testnet does have some drawbacks for sure. Not sure how to address that though.
Well, we are not here to build a general problem solver. I think Görli will make a lot of developers' lives easier, and this is why we are building it.
I think it's an awesome idea. The multi-client proof of work, I think, and proof of authority is totally the right thing to do. I just don't think it's going to replace Ropsten.
But no one's trying to replace it. We're just trying to take a lot of the pressure off of it and a lot of the kind of pressure off of who is right now maintaining kind of scheduling and stuff like that of these different test nets and just kind of trying to coordinate things in a more standardized way, kind of as EG was kind of talking about. I think that's really the main kind of goal here. And to kind of reiterate what Afri was saying, it's really about not necessarily replacing. That word might be a bit harsh. I was Google searching it a little bit earlier to see exactly what that word means. But maybe not replacing, but 99% replacing definitely sounds like it could be the right approach.
There was in the last couple core dev calls, we discussed, shall we start a new testnet? Shall we replace Ropsten? Shall we reset Ropsten? Honestly, I think Görli actually fills this gap. But I totally understand that there's a benefit of having a proof of work testnet, but that's not our point to decide this. I mean, we just build this and we see if people want this. Are there any questions regarding open task and roadmap?
What would be the requirements for saying this is the final, reset of this network before we allow this to just keep going?
Yeah, thank you for this question. I discussed this with Peter from Guest. He was really enthusiastic today and he already opened a pull request for Görli support in Guest. And we decided to put it on ice because it's just we are not certain that this will be the final testnet. For me personally, I want to see click support merged in parity upstream. This is Görli will not happen before, and this will probably take a couple of weeks. The basic support is there; it works. The code needs some cleanup. Jared, who is not here right now, he's on vacation. He's still working on all the sealing part and voting and probably the RPC endpoints. So there's still a lot of work to get this done. I suspect this will not happen this year, to be honest. So we will run this pre-testnet stage for another couple of weeks, I guess.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, I'm in favor of a reset at some point. So just to make it a clean start.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Also, I'm personally running 12 boot nodes on 4 servers right now, and whenever I restart them, the whole network goes down. I want a proper start with like good distribution of boot nodes, good distribution of validators. People that commit, like, I don't know, if Infura wants to run a validator, then they're more than welcome to do so. But I just need some preparation, and yeah, we want to get there first.
Yeah, that sounds good. You can add us to the list of willing validators.
Woo!
Awesome, that's great to hear. Thank you.
Okay, shall we go to client updates? Let's start with parity. Yukong, do you want to comment parity stage? You are more into the code right now than I am.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, nice to see you.
Hey, I don't know if it's just me having difficulty hearing, but there's maybe something wrong with the microphone.
Yeah, we're having
Somebody right now.
a little bit better.
No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the party part, I think is mostly done. I have been able to actually sync up with Rinkeby for the latest block. So I think right now there's just a little bit code cleaning to be done. And also I will work on the validation part, the actual validations. Right now, the code basically just trusts our blocks. So I'll finish the validation part this weekend and going to work on clean up the code next week. And later we'll finish up with the seeding and actual working. I think in the next couple of weeks, the code should be ready.
Amazing, thank you. Thomas, do you want to talk about Nethermind?
Yeah, sure. So Timur has finished the work for the validator. I did some cleaning today and added the JSON RPC support for click operations for voting. So we would love to add Nethermind as a validator for this test stage and check if everything works fine around sealing the blocks and voting in and out the signers. Apart from that, everything looks fine. Over time, we'll see if there's some more cleanup needed, but it seems to be stable. We're restarting the time, so you can see it red every now and again, but it seems to be stable. It can stay for, let's see, let it stay for 2 weeks, and it should be fine.
That's awesome. That's really exciting.
Any other client updates? No more clients present.
Nothing from Pantheon. It seems to be working fine.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for your client. It's really interesting to, I mean, when I attended the DEF CON, I didn't expect to be like a Pantheon power user already 1 week later. It's really interesting to test a new client that was built from scratch. And as you see me on GitHub, there's still a lot of things to be discovered and tested and fixed. I think Görli is a good opportunity for Pantheon to improve on a lot of things. I mean, it's nice to have like a native click implementation in a different language. It helps a lot with the cause of a proof of authority network that works across clients. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, honestly, the response has been extremely inspiring, and it's something that like we never really expected. We never assumed any of this. So we just would love to thank everyone for taking what was an insane hackathon idea and bringing it to life, one person at a time.
Yeah, it was a great hackathon idea. I was at ETH Berlin, but I didn't know you guys were working on that. Otherwise, I would have joined you and made it 8.
And that's awesome to hear.
Yeah. So I'm at the end of it again. Is there anything else we have to discuss? Any open questions? Everything goes.
I think we should discuss also our intention of, as things with DAOs get a little bit more ironed out, our intention to kind of allow for a more transparent use of our funds. I think that moving forward, we'd love to see the community supporting this. Already, Afri has tweeted out our multi-sig address, so anyone can view it and see exactly how much DAI is sitting there. But we and Berlin coin that we tested it with. But yeah, we definitely want this to also be a good example of a transparent use of grant funds and to show how we can make things super easy and accessible for people to contribute to like that could be through code, through financial means, and also to know exactly where the financial contributions have gone to beyond our word.
Like, I've got one question. I'm relatively new to all this, but like I've been following it from afar, and it all seems super cool. Like, if someone was to summarize, what are the benefits for a project to deploy to the Görli testnet over other testnets? What's the TLDR for that?
So different clients have different APIs, different like behaviors, how to interact with chain, and the problem with having like Ringby for gas only and Coven for parity only is that once you deploy your dApp that you developed on a testnet under these like really encapsulated conditions, once you deploy to mainnet situation, you mainly run into problems that you didn't expect, because Coven, for instance, is totally different from the Ethereum mainnet. Ringby is more close to mainnet conditions, but it's still only supported by one client. So this limits people also in using the tools. And then there was always like the fallback of Ropsten, which is very unreliable. It was attacked multiple times. Which caused downtimes for a lot of times. So the idea of having Görli is to having both a reliable and also very useful testnet for developers that as good as possible mimics mainnet conditions.
Aha, right. Cool, right, that's clear, thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I would end this call. Thank you everyone for contributing and being amazing. If this project continues growing at this speed, I guess we will have another call in 1 or 2 weeks, and I will probably announce this with like a more clear timeline and at a date where, at a time of day where people in Europe can also join, not on a Friday night. So yeah, good night everyone.
Just wanna say
yes.
I'm here on an individual capacity, but I'm going to try to get people inside Maker hopefully excited about this, because I really like the idea. And I mean, we're already, I think we're validators or whatever you want to call them for Coven. So we run one of those, so we can probably run one for Görli as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice to see you. Yeah, we are actually all here on a digital basis, at least for me. Just want to clarify, this is not a parity project.
Right.
Yep, good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for making this happen.
Thanks, it's awesome.